Salamat sore and welcome to VidCon Now Asia. My name is Jasper Donat. I'm in Singapore, but wishing I was in Indonesia right now. As you probably know, the Asian edition of VidCon Now is a 2 or 3 bi-weekly look at things all around online media and entertainment, including the platforms, communities, and the creators themselves. We've also been touring around Asia Pacific, visiting some of the most exciting markets in the world, including China, India, Japan, Korea, and Vietnam. So this week I have packed my virtual bag again. I've donned my favorite batik shirt, and we're now heading to wonderful Indonesia, one of my favorite places on the planet. It's the world's 4th largest country. There are over 275 million people in Indonesia, of whom 180 million are online. There is great food, amazing beaches, but most importantly, for today at least, an absolutely amazing, exciting video market. As ever, we want to delve deep into the business opportunities that exist within the video content ecosystem. And we're looking through the lens of 2 of Indonesia's best known and loved content creator brothers, Andovi and Jovial de Lopez, plus the largest e-commerce platform, Tokopedia. But we're going to start first with Ivan Hadibiwowo. He's the CEO of Flock Creative, Indonesia's creative agency of the year. And we're going to talk to him about the market, what's going on from a 35,000 feet level, and really what's going on with media. So Ivan, you've had 19 years experience in the creative industry in Singapore and Indonesia. You've been handling global brands. You've been on juries. You are part of a worldwide creative council for JWT, and you've been agency of the year. So I mean, it's amazing to meet you. Thank you so much for joining and wearing a black T-shirt. What is the Flock Creative Network?
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me, Jasper. It's really an honor for me to be here. And I want to introduce my company that I built 5 years ago. So we all, from my background, I was a creative people, content creator in different kind of sense. I always get paid to do my content. If I don't get paid, we don't do content at all. So I think that's the difference. So yeah, 5 years ago, we started off our agency, Flock Agency. At that time, we call it Flock Agency, and we handle one of the largest e-commerce in Indonesia, Tokopedia. And then we kind of grow for the last five years. We grow into now it's about 31 companies under our network, and we call ourselves Flock Creative Network. And now we are about 600 over people, and also what else to do? Yeah, we have a few achievements in our network as well. We are the fastest growing agency in the world for 2 times in a row, according to Adweek, the global publication for advertising. And also, we in the creative industry, we have a good reputation as well. We always be agency of the year for 2 times in a row. Yeah. So that's my short introduction. Yeah.
Fantastic, and what remarkable growth in just 5 years. But what kind of clients? Which clients do you work with?
Yeah. Now for overall network, we are the largest in Indonesia. We handle more than 100 over major brands. We are taking care of their brand growth and how to build their brands and all that. So one of it is Tokopedia. They are our first clients up till now, and also we handle the largest bank. I think PCA is one of the largest in Southeast Asia as well, and we handle multiple regional clients as well, like Unilever and P&G and so on.
Fantastic. So some real household names in there. So tell me, aside from the advertising industry, What's going on in Indonesia? What's happening with the media landscape? What are people watching? How are they watching? Is it traditional media? Is it new? Is it OTT? What's the media landscape?
Yeah, it's I think what's happening in Indonesia is happening around the world. We are kind of like so-called global citizen right now. There's no borders with the with the with the internet and all that. So what's happening is that previously there's always a corporation that hold information and kind of like communicate to the public, but right now is that everything become very diverse. There are everybody with their handphones become a media. They can create content in different platforms and all that. So it's very diverse, and in our network also we kind of like see the landscape, and some of our company we also invest in terms of building a media company as well. But the way we look at it is we look at it through the community base. So we don't see it as it's just a content creators, but as a community builders. So we have USS, one of the largest in Southeast Asia in terms of media company for lifestyle and for the Gen Z, and also we have automotive medias and Outbreak together with one of the #1 drifter in Indonesia, and we have for moms and children, and the latest one is NFT market. So we kind of like try to approach a media landscape through community buildings kind of landscape.
And what kind of content are they watching? Is it mostly local? What's the percentage of international, and within that international chunk, is it English language, or I believe K-drama and things like K-drama are very big in Indonesia.
Yeah, I think again we are in Indonesia. We are moving into like really like a global citizen, right? We watch most of them they watch Netflix and Korean drama and all that, but at the same time, the local content kind of like rising up. It used to be Jakarta centric, but we see more and more content from suburban, like small cities in Denmark, Demak, Purbolinggo, the city that's kind of like you never heard before, but we see more and more contents are coming out from there as well. So again, diversity is become the main things happening in Indonesia, and it's very interesting to see.
And obviously for VidCon, we're very interested in content creators and that whole ecosystem, and we're going to be talking with the brothers shortly. But do you work with content creators yourself, with the agency and the brands, and how do you work with content creators?
Yes, we do a lot of because the nature of our business is to do a campaign for the brand, and at the funnel of the marketing, there's always at the end is a conversion. So influencers marketing is become very important. It's become very crucial. That's where we work a lot with the content creators and to customize their content into the brand campaigns and all that. So yes, we do a lot, and there's a different type of content creators that we work on together with them, and we try to customize it according to the platform also, like TikTok and the rising of TikTok and YouTube and all that. So yeah. We day to day we always engage with them, and internally also we have our own talent management companies as well, and where we build content creators and we manage our own talents as well.
Brilliant. So Ivan, it's great to hear Indonesia has become, like you're saying, global citizens, no borders. Or when it comes to the internet, it's diverse, and I love that, saying that everyone is media. So Ivan, we're going to hear from you shortly. You're going to get whisked away into a virtual back room. There's an amazing party going on. And we're now going to meet Meliana. Meliana, Kristin, another old friend of ours from way back. Well, not old friend, a young friend from way back. Meliana started her career at Ogilvy. We first met Meliana when she was working with what was then one of Indonesia's top YouTube creators, and they were then called Skinny Indonesian 24. We're going to meet them shortly. They're now not called Skinny Asian 24, but then Meliana moved to YouTube, but she's now working as senior lead marketing investment at Tokopedia in Indonesia. Meliana, it's brilliant to see you at VidCon Now. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit more, for anyone who doesn't know, what is Tokopedia and what's your role at Tokopedia?
So Tokopedia is an Indonesian technology company with a mission to democratize and empower commerce through technology for everyone and everywhere. Since its founding in 2009, Tokopedia has been the first that pioneers digital transformation in the country. Our vision is to build a super ecosystem where everyone can start and discover anything. In summary, Tokopedia is a national pride. It's my pride. And as a senior lead of marketing investment, I'm working closely with creators to bring Tokopedia close to the customer with honest message by creating impactful campaign while also bringing the result back to the company. And at the end of the day, we are building and growing our nation together between the brands and the creators.
Fantastic. Now we're going to come on to the creators shortly, but I'm very keen to understand from a bigger higher level. E-commerce in the last 2 years has exploded worldwide, right? With lockdowns and what have you. What's going on in Indonesia? What trends can we see in the e-commerce space? Obviously, specifically around Tokopedia.
So what I saw last year is that Tokopedia roles as enabler for so many brands and sellers has been invaluable, especially when traditional offline channels are closed. You don't need to create your own website to sell it online. Simply plug and play to our platform, and we can take care of the payment, logistic, and customer service infrastructure. We had 6 million merchants for a decade, and we grew more than to 11 million merchant in the last 1.5 years. So can you imagine? This is like a growth, like a crazy growth right now. And then we also saw that customer demand centered around essential and their work at home or study at home needs. We acquire as many essential sellers as possible. We invested heavily in merchant education on how to sell online. As you know, Jasper, that selling online is another different level. And then, from what we are seeing, this trend is sticking because now our user realize what is more valuable, it's time and convenience. When I saw the innovation among our merchants to cater this new demand, Jasper, can I ask you, have you ever seen a bottle of iced coffee in 1 liter?
If I had, I can't remember.
So we have it in Indonesia. So that's how amazing our merchant innovate. And they also provide the frozen noodles or ramen so you can always prepare at home. There's also a pre-order feature, and then it's growing rapidly. And then we work with so many offline event organizers to bring their offline events to online.
And tell me about the events. How does that work? Because that means that they are literally one click away from consumers, right?
Yes. So we have our Tokopedia Play, and then we also they could also sell a lot of stuff online in our platform.
And how are you working with creators? Because that's what part of your main job is to bring creators to the platform, right? And how are you? If I were a creator in my wonderful favorite batik shirt, how would I work with you?
As I mentioned, we create an honest message to audience. So when we are working with creators, of course, we want them to create honest message about our product. We want them to try our product, believe in our product, and the most important thing, to experience our product and feel it helps them. So the content needs to be engaging, informative, and then educative, entertaining, and also authentic to themselves. And about the story itself, we leave it to the creators to develop. So we believe that our creators are the expert on how to craft the message to their audience. So yeah, if you are the right creators from anywhere in the world, including you, Jasper, and you think you can do that, come and work with Tokopedia.
That's fantastic. Now I meant to say at the beginning of the session, anyone who's watching this in the internet world right now live, please get your questions in for Ivan, Meliano, or the brothers who are going to be joining us in a minute. But please get questions in, and they'll be fed to me, and I'll ask them. So get your questions in now. Be really good. Who are you? Where are you? Tell us what you want. So we'll talk about how you're working with creators. What kind of creators? Who are you working with? Are they all one type, or do you work with a broad group?
So yeah, we are working with hundreds of creators right now. It's a very variety of creators from every tiering, like big celebrity, and then we call it macro influencer, micro influencer, from a lot of persona and style, of course. Yeah, we mainly work with the local creators. However, we are working with some international creators as well. As you mentioned before, Jasper, that Korean creators and artists is on the rise right now. So yeah, even our brand ambassadors are BTS and Blackpink.
So you've worked with the top of the top when it comes to K-pop.
Yes, correct.
And what other international creators do you? Is it just music you work with, or do you work with other genres for internationals?
So we work with other genres as well, with creators. We have our program called Mantul House on Tokopedia Play. It's with Cha Eun-woo from Astro Group, and it's hosted by Jang Han-sol, and then Park Kyu-rim and Andovi and Jovial friends as well, Hanyura. So Hanyura is a YouTuber, so it's a very diverse.
Fantastic. So what? Again, me as a content creator, I want to come and work with you. And what advice do you give content creators who want to work with Talkerpedia?
Yes, I mentioned before, you guys need to try our product at first, because we want you to create an honest message about our product, and then just being informative, engaging with your content, and then just be true to yourself.
And then what formats are working? Is there a kind of one format that's working better than others, or different types?
Any format is working. It depends on the objective of the campaign, or what we are going to achieve. But yeah, we always want to collaborate with the creators because we know they know the best. Yeah.
Okay, and so live, is it all live, or is some of it recorded?
It's live, it's pre-recorded. We are doing a lot of it Instagram. We are doing with YouTube as well, and the most platform right now is TikTok. So we are using a lot of social media.
Okay, and then final question, and this is probably the unfair question, but how are creators monetizing their experience on Talkerpedia?
We pay our creator fairly, and then it's just like a mutual benefit. Like they are producer content for us, and then we also pay them so they could cater the production costs and stuff.
Fantastic. So I send you an invoice. You're going to send me a check by the end of this session. Meliana, it's lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. And now again, we're going to whisk your way into the back room. We're going to see you again soon. And anyone who wants to ask Tokopedia questions, now is the time to get them in, and we can ask them later on, because we're going to have everyone back online. We'll have all 4 speakers at the same time. We can ask all the questions to all of them. But Meliana, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you in a very short while. Up next, we have 2 amazing old, I can't say old again, young friends of ours. I have been very fortunate, or my team have been fortunate, to have worked with Jovi and with Jovial and Andovi all over the world. We have been in Indonesia with them. We have been to India with them. We have been to Singapore, and we've seen them in the USA as well. So ladies and gentlemen, in VidCon world, please give a huge welcome to Jovial and Andovi de Lopez, the brothers. What a great story. What a brilliant career you've had already, and you're still very young. Why don't we we're going to start with, let's start with Andovi. Tell us a little bit about yourselves and the story behind the 2 of you.
Right. So hi everybody. Hi VidCon. Thank you, Jasper. So we started around 10 years ago, back in 2011. Our careers grew from YouTube, the platform YouTube, and from 2011 till 2021. This year was our last year working together as Skinny Indonesian 24 on YouTube. We have officially retired from YouTube. Yeah, that's the shirt, Skinny Indonesian 24. And even though we're technically retired from YouTube, the fire of creating is still within us. However, my brother and I are taking different routes and different paths in life. But 10 years on YouTube and 10 years as content creators, as filmmakers, as whatever you want to call it, we've learned a lot, and we're ready to take that next step.
Jovial, what are the you did so much leading up to your big decision. Just tell a little bit about the stuff you were doing before the big decision. Then we'll talk about the decision, and then we'll talk about what you're doing now. But Jovial, what kind of content when you were the Skinnies? What content were you producing? Because that was really diverse as well. I mean, you did a lot of stuff.
It was. We did a lot of content, but I think most of our content was really living up to the motto that we had, which was it had to be fearless, it had to be intelligent, and it also, the most important part, it had to be Indonesian. Not in the language, but like the message has to be for Indonesia. So we've done a bunch of stuff. We've done from rap battles to comedic sketches to musicals, to web series, to musicals. I mean, we've done nearly all types of format on YouTube. And as we grow from that, I think there are a couple of formats that we like to explore more.
So Andovi, you mentioned you came to this decision a year ago to stop the Skinny Indonesian, the end of the Skinny Indonesians. What led to that? What was behind that decision?
Right. There are many reasons why, and both my brother and I have 2 very different personal reasons, in which you can read on our book that's coming out. A little bit of hard stuff. Yeah, but yeah. Apart from our personal reasons, like Joe said, thank you. That's a very nice plug. Like Joe said, we wanted to move on and explore other formats. And by other formats, we're still going to be creating content. But we feel that, especially in our last year, we created 30-minute musicals. We created videos that are quote unquote, maybe not YouTube videos, right? And as creators, we feel that we need to level up. And my brother and I, apart from taking this break for our personal and mental health, for my mental health, we want to just, like first you asked the question like, how's the media, how's the creators in Indonesia, and you know how K-drama is dominating us. Well, my brother and I wanted it to be as such that people in Korea, people in the US watch Indonesian stuff. And I know that might be such a big dream. Like, why would the US or Koreans watch us? But that's our dream. Why can't Indonesian content creators go international as well? Right? So that's one of the big dreams that my brother and I still, until this point, want to achieve.
And what an amazing dream. And why not? I mean, as I said at the beginning of this, Indonesia is the 4th largest country in the world. You have a lot of support to help you rise. So Jovial, tell us a little bit. So since the decision, what are you doing now? What kind of content are you, Jovial, are you creating? What are you doing? Are you still engaging with fans? Are you still out and about?
So I kind of am. So right now I have a couple of projects. I'm creating a musical. Someone trusted me to create a musical for them, so I'm doing that right now. And I'm also like creating an offline game, which then has a video explaining on how to solve the game. It's a pretty cool concept that it's going to be out there in Indonesia. I'm exploring a lot of new stuff. But like right now, what am I doing on social media? I'm currently exploring the TikTok. Yes. I'm not active on my TikTok, but I'm pretty active on my girlfriend's TikTok. We're doing like a bunch of riddles, just a bunch of fun coupley stuff there, and the engagement is really high, and people are really interested with that. So I'm currently there right now. I'm still doing stuff on my Instagram, on my stories with my posts. But right now, TikTok is really the heavy hitter in Indonesia.
Same question for you, Andovi. What have you been up to for the last year?
I took a very different approach to my brother. I'm now in Bali, relaxing and chilling. You know, I'm just taking a break on my physical. Yeah, there you go. I'm taking a break on my physical and mental health. I'm taking care of my body. I'm eating well. So basically, as creators, we're always taught to always be on all the time. You know, to be on. I'm taking this time. I've worked for 10 years. I deserve this break. I'm taking this time to literally figure out who I am. I'm reading a lot of books. You know, I mean, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm enjoying life. That's what I'm doing right now.
For anyone watching this who doesn't know where Bali is or what Bali is, but Bali is one of the truly most magical places in the world. I've been very lucky to spend an awful lot of my life in Bali, and I'm very, very jealous of you right now. But I now know that when we're allowed to travel again, I know exactly who I'm going to come and hang out with at Potato Head. And there's a shameless plug there for.
Let's go.
And we'll be there. So let's talk about people wanting to succeed in Indonesia. Like you say, you want to take Indonesia to the world, right? If I were a young Indonesian creator looking to emanate your success, your combined success, what tips can you give to local creators? And let's start this with Jovial. What tips would you give someone having done it for 10 years? What did you learn? And what would you, what advice could you give a young creator as to how to get to the level you got to?
I think Meliana, the speaker before us, said it best. Like after 10 years, our heavy hitters were the most truthful content that we had. The ones really reflecting our thoughts and opinions, but packaged really cleverly. Because, for example, we had an opinion on the Indonesian elections, and we saw everyone showing their opinion with a certain type of format, and we explored other types of format to showcase our opinion, and that was one of our biggest videos till today. And also, I can't really emphasize enough on this musical stuff, because we made a musical about the Indonesian parliament. No one has ever done this in this country. We made a musical about the Indonesian parliament. And that was a big thing on Indonesian media and online. People are like, wow, we can really have contents like this in our country. I mean, we were heavily inspired by musicals from the US, from other countries where they do that on the daily. I mean, House of Cards on Netflix, they talk about politics. The Book of Mormon, they speak about religion, right? So we thought like we can really explore other types of content because we felt that in Indonesia, the secret to success here, what most people think is sensation. If I do something sensational, then I will be successful. We're trying to prove that theory wrong. That is not the only way to be known by the general public. And I think Andovi might want to add something here. Or
right. Kajo is right. And what Mas Ifan, the first speaker, said was, it's true that if you want to make it, as Indonesians, we're very Jakarta centrist. For those of you who don't know, Jakarta is the capital city. Everything has to go through Jakarta. Whereas Indonesia is 270 million people. We have 17,000 islands. Everyone comes from different cultures and different backgrounds. If you want to make it as a content creator, be yourself, right? If you're a person from Probolinggo or from Demak, or if you're somebody that's living in Surabaya or Bali, don't play the Jakarta game, right? Be unique to who you are. Because that's how you stand up from the competition. If there's 180 million internet users, why would you want to be the same as the other 179 million, right? Stand out, and by standing out is by being yourself. I know that's such a cliche, like, oh, be yourself. It is a cliche, but because it's true and it works. However, you can be yourself and still succeed. It matters on how you be yourself and how you sort of put yourself out there for those creators who want to make it. So that's as a 10-year veteran in this game, as the OGs, the old grandpas, that's what you're gonna say.
That's great advice. So let's kind of broaden the net a little bit, and we're going to bring the others back soon. I just want to ask you a couple more questions, but what about overseas creators? And I don't just mean idiot English guys in batik shirts, but what about serious overseas creators who want to build a fan base in Indonesia? I mean, 275 million people, of which 180 million have access to the internet. What advice? Let's start with you, Andovi. What advice would you give to an overseas creator?
My very first practical advice as an overseas creator, this is very practical: learn our language. That might seem such a simple thing to say. Like, of course you're gonna learn, but trust me, because once you learn someone's language, just as how we learn English, we learn other people's languages, we get to understand their culture. And once you understand our culture, once you wear our amazing batik like you're wearing, Jasper, it's amazing how this barrier can literally transcend things. You don't have to be an amazing linguist. You don't have to be an amazing Indonesian linguist. But once you try to learn our language, learn Bahasa Indonesia, it's going to open up a whole new audience. Indonesians appreciate it once any overseas creators learn our language. And it's simple, right? Unlike Western languages, there's no, he, she, they. It's just, there's a lot of grammar rules going on. So that's a very practical advice that I can give to overseas creators. Learn our language.
It's phonetic as well, right? I mean, it's very easy to spell everything in Bahasa.
There you go.
It's interesting. We were very lucky to have Kurt Hugo Schneider on VidCon Now a few months ago, and he had discovered Indonesia a couple of years ago, and did exactly that. He went out and learnt Bahasa, and it sounds so obvious. But you can't just expect to turn up in Indonesia with an English language video and think that 180 million people are going to tune in, right?
Exactly.
Jovial,
exactly.
What advice? Any advice you can add to Andovi there?
I mean, I hate saying this, and I want this to change, But if you do start from overseas, you do have a competitive advantage. I don't know why us Indonesians, we really appreciate things from abroad more than we appreciate our own content. So like if you are an overseas creator, you do have that advantage at first. But then again, if you do what Andovi said, you'll go on to another level. You'll go on to another level.
And collab
Fantastic.
with local creators. Collab with local creators. Like don't box yourself in your own your own clique or your own gang. Once you collab with local creators, it's gonna open up a whole new audience for you.
And they're helping you, but you're helping them as well, right? It's this wonderful
Mutual.
1 +
Yeah.
1 equals more
Mutual.
than 2.
Yeah. Mutual.
Okay, so guys, it's brilliant seeing you. I wish I was in Bali right now or Jakarta, but Bali would just take a slight preference.
Bali's better.
Now you're going to stay there, and we're going to get everyone on the screen at the same time. Hopefully, by the there we go. The power of the internet has worked, and we're just going to ask a few questions. If there's anyone out there that wants to ask any questions, please get them in, and they'll magically appear in front of me. So I'm gonna go, Ivan. Thank you so much for being the most patient here. Let's say you're working with Andovi and Jovial, and a brand wanted to work with them. What should brands be thinking about how they can work with creators in Indonesia or in general? Ivan.
Well, I think if we would work together, I think it's very important to see from the brand perspective and their main campaign objective on what they want to say as a brand. I think that's super important, and because throughout our experience, we work a lot with the content creators. I know they have their own kind of way of approach contents, but a brand need to have an objective to communicate. I think the understanding from both sides and how to marry two different perspectives, that's very crucial, I think.
Meliana, same question to you. I mean, you've worked on. Oh, sorry, Ivan.
Yeah, but maybe I want to add on. So the idea that come out, it needs to be a big idea that's kind of like transcend all the different platforms. So don't be locked into a certain platform, but it needs to be agile enough to kind of like go into different platforms as well.
So being true to those platforms and talking about platforms, Meliana, same for you. I mean, you've worked on many sites, you've worked with the creators, and now you're working with a platform. What advice would you give to brands who want to work with the creator community?
Ooh.
We may have lost Meliana.
Can you hear me?
Keep
sorry,
going,
guys.
keep going,
It's
keep
Indonesia
going.
after all.
You're back. You are back.
Yeah. So I think I just want to emphasize on collaboration and how important it is between brands and creators. As I mentioned before, creators know the best on how to craft the message to the audience. So as the brands, we need to trust our creators, and as the creators, they need to also cater our needs and objective on the campaign itself. So as Mas Ivan said, on how to marry those two and come up with the most impactful campaign, it's the most crucial part.
And then, well, finally, same question to I'm going to ask Jovial.
Yes.
What should brands be thinking about to work with you?
Ooh. I think right. I think both brands and creators have matured in this ecosystem, where I don't know about the new creators, but the older creators really understand that it needs to be a great marriage between the brand's message and the creator's message. And what Andovi and I have done, and Meliana knows this really well, we have there was an 85% success rate. Don't quote me on this percentage. There's an 85% success rate on the things we've done that has both our message and the brand's message. And so yeah, I think we both understand what we need from each other.
So it's kind of a marriage, right?
It is.
Okay, let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about go back to kind of the whole Indonesia market and what's going on. Andovi, right now, what's the most exciting thing about Indonesia for you?
Ooh.
Ooh.
The most exciting thing for Indonesia about me is I honestly think that this new generation of creators it takes a lot for me to say this because I'm the old generation, right? The new generation of creators are very, very creative and out of the box. Not all of them, but some. There's some very good hidden gems in Indonesia. And what's promising is they're incorporating Indonesian culture to their content. I think that's very, very important to note that, for example, not only us, because our content always incorporates Indonesian culture, but in general, more and more creators are starting to understand that when you incorporate Indonesian culture and make it modern, when it's modernized, it can have a huge impact. And I think more and more Indonesians understand that our culture is so strong and we are on par with everybody else's culture. And that's, I think, what's very promising.
That's fantastic. Jovial, same question. What's exciting you about Indonesia right now?
Oh God, I gotta be honest. Our OTT game is stepping up. Like for example, yesterday there was a web series where there were 2 Indonesian girls doing a full lesbian makeout scene. I've rarely seen anything like this in our country. And the fact that they're open to more adult scenes, more not just in terms of relationship, but adult as in concept and stuff. That is the most exciting thing for me, because that's the thing Andovi and I have been trying to. That's our fight in this industry, to make our content more adult in all types of in everything. So that's what's exciting right now.
Fantastic. Meliana, same for you. What's really exciting for you right now?
I think I'm gonna answer that in terms of the business side. I think the infrastructure now is kind of amazing. Like a lot of innovation is often, it's born out of the problems of inconvenience. For example, like, I don't know if you were, but we don't really have a lot of public transportation to serve the entire country. But now we have Gojek. And then we also have, like as I mentioned before, because of this COVID situation, a lot of offline now shift to the online. And then here comes Tokopedia to make everything more convenient to the customer. So I think infrastructure is the most exciting part in Indonesia in terms of the structure and business.
I've never had that answer before. Infrastructure.
Jasper, fun
Brilliant
fact.
answer.
This speaker and this pull-up bar was brought from Tokopedia. I'm just letting you know. Both these things behind me was bought from Tokopedia. I'm just letting you know.
Are you still getting paid for, even though you've semi-retired?
No,
you're
I'm not getting paid. Not getting paid. Just being honest. This is Tokopedia pull-up bar, Tokopedia speakers. Just letting you know. There you go.
Very, very good. And Ivan, for you and the advertising market, what's really exciting right now?
Well, almost like what Mel said, the technology is kind of like booming, like almost like happening in Vietnam and Indonesia. Recently, NFT, kind of like really like rocking the world, where the creator from Indonesia kind of like, everybody was questioning from around the world, questioning what's happening with Indonesia. How can they have so much talent that being produced in Indonesia? And one of it is like only force that the one that's really like really like suddenly it's become number one in the world, you know, and that's from the artists that we never heard before. So there are a lot of exciting things, small here and there, but we are suddenly so-called kind of like taking over the world in different sense.
Fantastic.
Different industries, you know, like kind of like in agency, we have become the fastest growing agency in the world, and also and NFT and all that. So small part. It's coming up.
That's great. I mean, NFTs are just, you know, in the same way that YouTube and Facebook flattened the world digitally, NFTs are now flattening the entertainment business, or potentially it's kind of early stages, right? We've got a question from Emma in LA. So it's, I'm going to work this out. It's about 2:00 in the morning. She should clearly be in bed. To Andovi and Jovial, who do you see as the three most promising Indonesian creators to get the flavor of Indonesia out there? So obviously, you're talking about taking Indonesia to the next level. Who do you see as the three most? What do they do and why? Let's go Andovi first.
I already have three. So one of the guys who lives in Bali, by the way, Jasper, his name is Alfie Ref. Alfie recently made a video called Wonderland Indonesia, and that is very, very, very good. And please, Mas Ivan, Meliana, please help Alfie Ref. Look, if he succeeds, everybody succeeds. So help him like take it to the next level, because the question is to get the flavor of Indonesia, right? It's very specific. His name is Alfie Ref. And the other two are called Andovi de Lopez and Jovial de Lopez. That's the other two. So that's three right there. Right. So that's
I knew it.
You see what I did there?
You
see what I did there?
I thought the answer would be Andovi, Jovial, and then Skinny Indonesian 24.
No. So
That's
Emma, listen. Alfie Ref, Andovi, Jovial. There you go. Three. That's my answer.
and she's in LA right now, so she can help you with that. I'm going to ask one more question, and it's the question I love asking everyone. We've got two of Indonesia's most famous creators. We've got the biggest e-commerce platform, and we've got one of the most successful advertising agencies. So you're all very successful in your own lunchtimes and in your own right. Tell me, if you bumped into your teenage self, what advice would you give them, and what would you tell them to do differently? And I'm going to start with Ivan. We're going to work this one round. We're going to start this one round, but Ivan first. What advice would you give? Now, I asked someone last week the same question, and she gave the best answer, which was like, dump your boyfriend. Which I thought was gorgeous. My answer is always learn Chinese and get into gaming. But anyway, and I'm just looking at this screen and seeing how I'm going to kill the team for putting an orange background on against this batik shirt. But Ivan, what advice would you give if you bump into your teenage self? What advice would you give?
I will say that I will tell myself to be more brave. I'm the youngest among my of 5 brothers, so I'm kind of like there's a like as a youngest in the family, you have those insecurity that you are always late in the game, and that's where I really think that if I'm brave enough, if I'm more brave, then maybe I can make a lot more impact into the world, especially Indonesia.
So what is brother number 5? No, this is a question for Andovi. In Bali,
5
everyone gets a number, right? So I'm Wayan Jasper. What's number 5?
Yeah. Number 5 is Inian Nyoman, right? Someone needs to go.
Nyoman. Nyoman.
Number 5.
He said he was the 5th brother. So I think is that Nyoman? Anyway, we'll get there. So by the way, I have so you guys think you're all famous and have power. I have the power to change the color of the backdrop at VidCon Now, live on the internet. Meliana, same question to you. I know it wasn't that long ago, but you bump into your teenage self. What advice would you give to yourself and say, do this differently?
Thanks, Jasper, because you mentioned that it's not a long time ago. I think it's a very cliche sentence. It's work harder. But on top of that, I also want to say work smarter.
Nice one. Okay, now I have to toss a coin between the two brothers. Who gets to go first on this? And you get call 5 or flower. So you're going to call this Jovial, 5 or flower?
Flower.
It's the number 5. So Andovi, you go first.
Okay,
You
got
go
it.
first. What advice?
See, my teenage years technically was 8 years ago, so no, not that long ago. But what I would say to myself is, I was pretty brave back in the day. But what I would say to myself, I did not take my language and music lessons seriously. I traveled around the world because of with my brother, of course, and I wish that I studied languages much better. Just like you said, you said you had to learn Mandarin, right? I realized that language is such an important barrier to cross, and like if you just could study, because when you're younger, you can study languages so much faster and easier than we're at our age now, right? So I wish I would have studied way more languages than I did now. So that's something very practical I would tell my 13-year-old self.
Fantastic. Jovial, the last word from you.
Tokopedia is going to hate me for saying this, but stop being such a consumer.
God.
You're gonna
stop being such a consumer.
Yeah, because let's be real. I did take nuclear physics, but in my teenage years, I was really a product of marketing. Like anything they sold, I would be like, I need to buy this right now. And if I just saved all that money, I could have probably gotten big things right now in life. But like now I have 300 shoes. I don't know what to do with them. So they're just right there. Just spend your money more wisely. I guess that's it.
You could sell them on Tokopedia as one of the 11 million merchants.
I could.
Hey? Hey?
Jasper.
And get a commission because you're a creator.
There you go.
Yes.
But Jasper,
Okay, so
the fifth child is the first child repeated once again. So it would be Wayan Ifan or Putu Ifan or Gede Ifan. It will be that. The fifth child is the number 1 repeated again. I just checked.
Okay. So Wayan Ifan, I'm Wayan just Wayan. Well, I used to get called Wayan Japa because no one could pronounce my name. We're out of time, and that's a shame because I'm loving this conversation. And what it means is that we all have to congregate in Bali as soon as we're allowed, and just continue this wonderful conversation. I've written some notes, and this is about wonderful Indonesia and how to really get on in that country, whether you're a local creator, an international creator, whether you're a brand, whether you're a platform. We talked about global citizens, no boundaries. We talked about the diversity in media, and everyone is media. We talked about national pride. We talked about how powerful Talkerpedia is. 11 million merchants. That's twice the size of Singapore, just in the number of people selling stuff on Talkerpedia. We talked about being entertaining storytellers. We talked about dream big, tell the truth. We talked about music and how important music is and using music in your in videos. We talked about be unique, stand out, be yourself. Talked about language and culture, how important Bahasa is. If you're gonna get on in Indonesia, speak the language. They're not necessarily going to listen to you in English. But I think the most important thing that I got out of this is that Indonesia really matters. What an amazing chat for today. Thank you so much for spending an hour with us. To Meliana, Mas Ifan, to Jovial, and to Andovi. You are all wonderful. Terima kasih, and thank you so much for joining us at VidCon Now Asia.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Thank
Terima
you.
kasih. Thank you.
Thank you.